Good evening. Good evening, guys. Are you there? Okay, for the meantime, please turn on your videos. Thank you. Let's have our system check first. Can you see the screen I'm sharing? Can you see the two hands and the camera here? Can you give me like react if you can see the screen I'm sharing? Okay, thank you. Can you also give me hard react if my audio is clear and I'm not glitching on your part? Thank you. Yeah, it's great that my audio is clear. Okay, so again, good evening. How are you? How are you doing? I mean, are you affected by the typhoon? No? Yeah, that's great news. I hope you're doing well. And okay, how about the others? Okay, now let's have our class picture before we continue, before we pray. Okay, please turn on your videos. We are 26 in the room. Okay, ready? One, two, three. Smile. Okay, next slide. Keep on smiling. One, two, three, smile. Okay, yeah, that will do. Thank you so much. Okay, can you lead us in prayer, Hershey? Can you lead us in prayer? A short prayer. Please unmute. Thank you. Amen. Okay, thank you so much, Hershey, for that wonderful prayer. Okay, thank you for the prayer. Okay, by the way, I have a proposal to make. Can we, by the way, I mean, this for this discussion, for the list of topics that we'll have today, different way for next meeting. But my proposal is it okay that we'll have both synchronous for this week until Friday? If you've noticed, I already sent the Zoom link, right? The Zoom invitation. And then for next week, so we will not meet because that will be asynchronous. So you will allot next week for the compliance of the requirements. Will that be okay? Think that's better. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. So just like last week, right? We didn't meet because I allotted that for your asynchronous, for your time to accomplish the activities, and may I also receive like, okay, how to react if it's reasonable, if the due date is reasonable for you to accomplish all activities, like of course not considering procrastination, attitude, right? Okay, thank you for the heart. So I hope that's reasonable, but for this activity, because on the latter part, let me preempt, on the latter part of the activity, right, we need to have our mock job interview. So if you're available, you need to, we're gonna use our time for next meeting, even though it's synchronous, but it's up to your availability, right? You can call me, even though not, I mean, even though you can't see me, but you're ready, like personally and physically, to answer the question. So I don't want to preempt more, so let's start with the echoing of your output. Okay, for your output. For activity one, I would like to ask some of you if you still have the copy of your responses. You may. By the way, for those who already figured out how to know, right, who submitted a response by looking at the timestamp. So there's no need for you to resend your output. I have their responses and I can know, right? Just make sure you turn it in, right? You send the turned in, right? For me to make sure that that's your timestamp. Okay. So in this case, like work is on your way, right? I mean, if you plan to work after this year, right, and you're prepared to work, so that's a question. So anyone who'd like to echo their output for activity one? Yes, would you like to echo your answer for the first activity last time? Yeah, it's asked there, are you prepared to work? Do you have the potential, character, talents, and skills to take up the vigor of being a worker or employee? And what should you possess to become a good worker? How will you prepare for work?
I know and I am confident po na I have the characteristics and I am strong enough as a person.
Mm.
What ano po, tawag dito? Ano po ulit yun?
Yeah, and what should you possess
Tanong po.
to become a good worker? I think you
To
answered.
become, I think to become a good worker, you should be career oriented. You should be hardworking and have such skills as a leadership and organizational skills po.
Wow, okay. Well, certainly you learned a lot from the discussion. Okay, so allow me, thank you, Ma'am Pat. Allow me to echo, right? One from your classmate says, in order to become a worker, you first need to be motivated because with motivation, it will give you the energy that you need to strive for success. That's correct. And second, you need to right to be cooperative and friendly. Yeah, it's important for you to become a people person, and because doing it yourself is difficult and being mean all the time, of course, isn't good for your reputation. You need to help and cooperate with others. In exchange, they'll help you in return, and that's beneficial not just for you but for the company as well. And if it's that's the type of task. Lastly, you need to be flexible and adaptable because with those skills you can perform a variety of tasks with no issue at all. And no matter what happens to the company or workplace, you'll still find a way to get things done. Nice. I like this response. So if this is yours, okay. Another response would be, I haven't discovered my talents yet, but for me, becoming a worker, I'll give all my best and all I can give for my work. I like works that give more physical effort than mental. It's fine for me to be exhausted physically and mentally. On becoming a good worker, I should respect and cooperate with other workers. Honestly, I'm not fully prepared for a work, but as the time goes by, I hope that I'll learn something from this and become a good and prepared worker. Yeah, I understand that dilemma of yours in terms of not being prepared, especially, right? The hours that you're going to fill in, right, for this course would just be through, virtual trainings, virtual workshops, and so on. So until now, right, I haven't received response for that. So later, I'm gonna show you some sites that I already mentioned. So let's talk about now the do's and don'ts. Okay, so you have to give 15 do's. Well, that's a lot, right? And 15 don'ts. So let me read again from the same person. First, always deal with market, right, intermediaries registered with, wow, I think you just okay, I don't know if you just copied and paste this from a certain group of people, or you what you look at a certain your dream company, that's why. Okay, so I understand, right, that they have established do's and don'ts. So yeah, technically you will simply copy paste these. So do not make or take payment in cash. Do not believe if it's so specific. It's great, right? It's correct. It's so specific when it comes to your dream company. I like that you have a certain goal and vision in mind. May I hear from Trisha? Can you recall like what's the dream company that you have in
Ah,
mind?
yung nalagay ko po dun is, the office company. It's
Mm,
an office workplace. Kasi po, ang alam ko po kasi sa iba parang may hospital po sa kanila, gano'n.
mm.
So, sa'kin po is office. Ang alam ko pong do's and don't dun is, you should cooperate to your coworkers, gano'n po.
Okay. How about the don'ts?
Yeah, yung don'ts po is, don't take your don't take your personal problems
Mm.
to your workplace.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And that's applicable to, right, to majority, right, of the professions, or to all, we can say to all, right, professions. Like you really need to establish or exemplify professionalism, right, if you're in the workplace. And I appreciate this answers from your classmate, right, because she has, a specific dream company in mind and research for specific do's and don'ts. So thank you. For activity three, we have the reflection. Right? Do you agree to the company's policy guidelines, rules, and agreements? Support your answer. Anyone? Samuel? Yeah, Samuel Lara.
Hello po, ma'am.
Hello?
Ano po, ma'am, yung sagot ko po dun is, yes, I completely agree. I understand the company's rules. It's very simple to do, at least in my perspective, because I do it all the time. Not every rules, but some of it, and I just have to adapt to the rules and have no problem.
Okay, wow. Okay, that is so direct. And that's a good thing. So we can say that when you go to the field, right, you will not, or the company or your employer will not have too much problem when it comes your submission to authority. Thank you. Samuel, how about the second question? Was there a rule that you think is not acceptable to you? Anyone? RJ, are you there?
Ma'am,
Was there a rule that you think is not acceptable? As
no, ma'am.
okay, there's none. Okay.
Because the rules is appropriate for the job and it is for the employees to be organized po.
Okay, wow, that's great to hear. How about, may I ask what's the dream company that you had in mind?
About sa aviation po. Sa,
Okay, like aeronautics?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm right. Okay, thank you, RJ. Okay, so for the situational analysis, okay, we have here the confidentiality in the workplace, right? Supposed to work in a, for example, police station. This is the situation given to you, or a law firm, and sign a confidentiality agreement regarding all their cases at hand. Suddenly, your friend, who was a suspect in a crime, asks you for some documents that are in your office's possession that may help him in his case. How would you deal with the situation, Xander?
Um, Hold on for a moment. I would like to keep it confidential, no matter what. If Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Ah, okay, thank you. Well, I would like to keep it confidential between me and my friend who
Mm-hmm.
was supposedly or allegedly involved in the case.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep it confidential because we need to keep the information original and authentic. It is what was witnessed in the camera or whatever feed that was collected, and thus it cannot be changed because that person could be held liable for a crime that they did or something, and as such, it must be protected at all costs, unless the higher ups decided to change it, if in case they need to update it every now and then. A friend or not friend, it still needs to be protected for the better good of our country, for ourselves, for our society. So there's that. That's my answer.
Okay, wow, yeah, thank you. You need to really take stance, right, on the integrity that you have there, that whether the person is a dear friend, even your best friend, right, as a professional, as an individual, right, as a, a moral individual, you really need to take it confidential. Thank you. Wow, that's a comprehensive answer and stance, right, Xander? Thank you for that. Another? A conflict resolution. So, did you ever experience disagreement and conflict with coworkers or classmates? Your classmates are included. How did you handle the situation, and how would you rate your skills in handling differences of opinion? Yeah, please give an example that illustrates that skill. Michaela, you there? Lian, would you like to share your response to the question? Did you ever experience disagreement or conflict with your coworkers or classmates? You may unmute.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
Ako,
Yeah.
sino po ba?
Lian?
Ali yan.
Mm-hmm.
Ako po, ma'am.
Lian De Vera. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening po.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. I already experienced something po like that. Resolute conflict po. Especially when we're together po, between classmates, between the classes po. Ganun.
Mm-hmm.
I can say from 5 po, I will rate myself from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Resolving conflicts po.
Okay. Yeah. At least you're honest. Thank you for your honesty, Lian, about handling the situation. Yeah. Given your different stance on the problem, right? You can simply. I can agree with you that at some point it's hard to really deal, right, with the person, right? Physically. Right, so allow me to read or echo one of your classmates' response. I've experienced many conflicts with my classmates about something like group activities. At first, I wanted my opinion to be followed, but then I realized that if we share both our opinions and combine them, it will have a good outcome. Okay, so that's how he handled it, but there's no rating on the response. Okay, how about Karen? Yeah, what's this conflict, and then how did you handle the situation? You are. We can't hear you, by the way, but you are unmuted.
Meron na po.
Okay, yeah. That's clear now.
Okay. Ano po, parang magka-group po kami nung, ah, parang parehas po kasi kami running for valedictorian tapos pinag-group po kami sa isang debate. And then magkaiba po kasi yung sagot namin. Tapos ayun po, katulad din nung nasabi niyo kanina, parang naisip namin na mas maganda po kung pagsamahin namin yung idea namin para mapambato sa kalaban. Tapos yun po. Tapos kung i-rate ko po siguro 3 lang din.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think? Uh,
Kasi minsan ano, parang minsan mas gusto ko din na susunod kung ano yung sa'kin. Parang mas pinaninindigan ko po kung ano yung sinasabi ko kaysa sa
right.
kanya.
Yeah, I think anyone has that kind of spirit, even I, right? But yeah, as time passes, we realize that there's really a need to listen, to understand rather than listen to respond, right? I also have that kind of spirit that they always tell they tell me hindi ako nagpapatalo, right? But at some point when I realized that I think I really need to humble myself in terms of that. So I always acknowledge and accept defeat, and I'll say, okay, okay, you're right. So, or you have a point. So that's important. Okay, thank you. By the way, once if you got lost, right? If we finish the limit of time, you just go back to the same meeting ID. So as we continue, we also have the self assessment or plus your plan, right? So I okay. Let's just have a quick responser, for example, the reliability, right? Can you rate yourself? Okay, yeah, rate your level of confidence in each scale as honestly as possible by putting a check mark on a specific rating. So the rating would be not so confident and really confident. That's the extreme. Okay, anyone? For reliability, this means you can be counted on to get the job done. So it's also about self efficacy. How about Ashley? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your rating? What's your rating for reliability?
Ano po? Ay,
Yeah, are you confident, really confident, sort of, or not so confident?
ako po kasi ma'am, I'm really a timid person. So, hindi po ako masyadong confident sa sarili ko. And yung communication skills ko po, hindi ko masyadong hindi pa po siya ano, na-develop or na-improve. Parang nahihiya po ako ano po sa ibang tao.
Yeah, I
So,
think that refers to the second skill, effective communicator. How about for the first one? Like, you can be counted on to get the job done. So when someone assign you a task, you can finish it in that aspect.
I think, opo, kaya ko naman po siyang tapusin.
Okay.
Since masasabi ko po na I'm a reliable person po pagdating na 'pag may inatas po sa akin na mga task and mga, projects, gagawin ko po siya.
Okay. Yeah. So we can say you are really confident on the reliable part. Thank you, Ashley. How about for skill number two? Effective communicator. This means that you can express your thoughts and ideas clearly and directly with respect for others. Mac, are you there? Can you rate yourself not so confident or really confident? It's okay. This is simply self assessment. Are you there, Mac?
Wait lang po, ma'am.
Okay. Someone is unmuted as well. Okay. How about.
Hello, ma'am.
Are you ready?
Ma'am, can you hear the background noise?
It's okay. We can still understand you. It's fine.
Okay, ma'am. Ano po yung question, ma'am?
Yeah, for effective communicator, how will you rate yourself? Not so confident or really confident?
If I rate myself from 1 to 5, maybe 3.5.
Three. Sorry, we only have three rating. It's the not so confident as the extreme, and then really confident.
Um, maybe 2, I guess.
Again, is it
Maybe 2.
the
Maybe not.
middle?
Yeah, because for me, I'm not really that confident to speak to other people unless I'm really close to that person.
Okay. Wow, thank you. Yeah, so sort of confident. So at least you can express your thoughts, right? And ideas clearly, however, to specific people. Thank you. How about for skill number three, active listener? Uh, Ivan, are you there? Can you rate yourself? That you can listen to and respect different points of view, and others can offer you constructive feedback, and you don't get upset or defensive. How?
Good evening po, ma'am. Yes po, ang tawag dito, willing naman po ako lagi makinig kapag may opinion po yung mga classmate ko or kaibigan. Kasi para naman po sa ikabubuti ng lahat yun. Yun po.
Okay, thank you. So really confident on the part of being an active listener. Just like what I said earlier, right? It's important. I mean, this applies also to the skill that we listen to understand rather than to respond. So at some point I struggle on that part when it comes to a friend, right? Years ago, and now I really listen. I listen attentively now because it's also important for what teachers, right, to become an active listener. Next, skill number four, participate, or you are okay, participative. This means that you are prepared and get involved in team activities, and you are a regular contributor, not just the one who buys Manila paper or who pays or who buys the merienda, but you really contribute ideas to your group. Aliyah,
Po.
yeah, how will you yourself on the scale of being participatory? Not so confident or really confident?
Nag-choppy po.
Okay.
Nag-stop po.
Yeah, how will you rate yourself on scale number four in terms of participatory? This means that you are prepared and get involved in team activities, and you are a regular contributor of ideas.
So, kasi po, dati po, yung sa research po namin, ah, parang kami po nilalian yung mga kung nag-a-assign po kung sino po yung mga gagawa ng ano. Siguro po, I would rate myself po mga number 4 po.
We only have three. It's the not so
3.
sort of confident. And the
2
highest is
po.
three.
2 po. 2.
To sort
I
of.
mean, ano po, hindi pa po ako masyado gano'n ka-confident, pero alam ko naman po sa sarili ko na kaya ko pong ano yung kaya ko pong mag-contribute din po.
Okay, yeah. Right, that's really possible. Even now, you have research, right? And there's really a need for you to be to have this attitude of being participatory, right? How about skill number five, right? Someone who shares openly and willingly. This means you are willing to share information, experience, and knowledge with the group. Ashley,
Yes po, ma'am.
yes. Are you not so confident, sort of confident, or really confident when it comes to sharing openly and willingly to the group?
I'm not that confident po ma'am na mag-share ng, sarili kong opinions or kapag may malaman ako ng mga informations na makakatulong, yung ginagawa ko lang po is shine-share ko siya sa close friend ko tapos siya na lang po yung ipapasabi ko since hindi po talaga ako yung basta mahiyain po kasi talaga ako.
Okay. Yeah, at least right now you're able to assess yourself on that part, and maybe, right, start opening your doors when it comes to sharing your ideas. Okay. Not only to the people, right, who are close to you, but also to the people who need your experiences, right? Again, you have to realize that all your what life experiences are great testimonies in the future, even today, right? So people can also learn from you. Thank you. How about for skill number six, cooperative? This means that you work with other members of the team or group to accomplish the job, no matter what. The- Whether it rains, you will still do your best, right? You're so confident that you always look for opportunities to cooperate and not just to pay for the printing or some sort of materials. How about Miguel? Are you there? You may unmute, Miguel.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. How will you rate yourself on this aspect?
Um, Not confident.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Yes.
Why did you say you're not so confident in terms of, you know, uh, working with other members to accomplish a job? No matter what.
Uh, because sometimes I tend to do mess things up. Like
Mm,
that.
okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty and sharing. Thank you, Miguel. How about for skill number 7, being flexible? How will you rate yourself? Right. This means you adapt easily when the team changes direction or you're asked to try something new. Usually, you're right in research and you like to change the title, you like to change the problem, but in this case, you are flexible and it's fine with you. Julian, are you there, Julian? How will you rate yourself in terms of your flexibility, adapting to changes, to plans?
Ma'am, pwede po ba ulit?
Again, how will you rate yourself in two? Okay, so sort of confident. Why do you say that? How do you say it's
Mahiyain po kasi ako nun eh.
okay? Yeah, but even if you are shy, right? Even if you are shy type of person, I mean, being flexible is being adaptive to the changes. So yeah, at some point, right? Even if it's simply about sharing your thoughts or saying yes, right, to decisions of the group, well, you can be considered flexible. Thank you. How about for skill number 8? You can say that you are committed, you are responsible and dedicated. You always give your best effort, so you don't settle for mediocrity. You don't like the expression bahala na or okay na yan. You don't settle for that, but you always want the best. You always want to give your best in everything you do. How about Bianca Perez?
Ay ma'am, ano po, 2 po.
Sort of confident. Why?
Kasi po ano, minsan po kasi ano, kapag po parang ano po 'pag sobra pong tinatamad na ano na po, ayun po, lagi po nasasabi ko madalas ano, "Bahala na, kaya 'to lang po."
Okay. Are you willing to change that?
Yes po ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, especially in terms of what your work performance. Thank you, Bianca. It's so important that you give your best and you don't settle for less because you can serve as a model, really not to compete or yeah, not to brag about what you did, but to serve as model implicitly, right? They can see that oh, your work is exemplary, and then in that case you can influence other workers, okay? Or other people or even colleagues, right? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so next, the webinars, right? So I can see, of course, it's so early to turn in, right, your list of credentials. So since you will not be able to actually immerse yourself in a real work environment, you are tasked to search for webinars, trainings, even free online courses that are relevant to your skills, interests, and target job position. So, for instance, you're into psychology, we have there science, we have language there. Okay, list all of them, right? Including the title, theme, speaker, like it's the format of your seminars attended or webinars attended in a resume. Yes, you may find a lot these free webinars on various social media, even just by searching it on Google, right? You can search for different websites. So I highly suggest Future Learn. Okay, in this case, they are being sponsored. They're sponsored by international universities around the world that can issue you also free certificates here. So you just have to type, free short courses, free online courses, and make sure that when you go to, make sure to scroll down and make sure that you are eligible for the certificate as you finish it, right? Because for the others, okay. Ma'am, okay lang po ba yung mga recorded webinar? In that case, yeah, you may include that. However, that they cannot issue you certificates anymore, right? So I suggest the ones, okay, I can also consider that, especially to fill your hours, right? The number of hours that you need to fill for this 80 hours. Am I right? Yeah. Okay, and it's okay. It's okay. You may include that. Just include the title. Okay, that's okay. But as much as possible for your credentials to be tangible and really beneficial in the future as you apply, right? It's important also that you have official certificates. Okay, because some employers, right, or even for example when you go to college, you can use that. You can include your certificates. Okay, so at least you have proof. But at least, yeah, that's important. Okay, so how about the others? For the recorded webinar, so at least I know, right? Because you will not be able to attach the certificates. By the way, when you turn in the activity 6, I would like you to attach the list, right? Just like in part of resume. Don't worry, we'll talk about that tonight, the resume and the parts. But if they're recorded and they cannot issue you certificates because they are considered evidences, maybe you can just give me a synthesis, right, of the learning that you got from the recorded webinar. Okay, and its application to your target, job position or target field of specialization. Are we clear with that? Can you give me like react if that's clear? So if it's a recorded webinar that cannot give you certificates, just give me a short synthesis, right, an implication of that webinar to your field of specialization. Thank you. Okay. So how may I ask for someone who's already but who has already started or who has already started, a free online course in Future Learn or here, Coursera. Anyone, you may unmute please and share to your classmates your experience. I think someone sent me a personal message about this. Ma'am, yung certificate po ba pagsasama-samahin sa Microsoft Word? Yeah, as attachment or since that's a Google Classroom activity, you may simply attach or upload a file and then upload the PDF file of the certificate. That's great. Okay. You don't need to copy and paste it on a Word. You may simply attach each file in the Google Classroom activity. You may actually start, right, uploading there because the I set the deadline on a different month. Okay. How about the others? I would like to hear your experience in looking for these webinars, short courses. And it's a good thing for Future Learn because this is legit. I mean, the sponsors are international universities, so that's a high credential for you to keep. They also give you assessment results, your scores. They give you results after the final test. Anyone? Ma'am kasali daw. Yes, yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, correspondence team, you also need to do this because that's the idea of work immersion. So instead of, right, but yeah, don't stress yourself out. Okay, from time to time if you have time to watch. Okay, because in this case, if it's an online course, you enroll in an online course, there's also specific time, but it's not really real time if you know what I mean. uh, it depends on when they started a particular course. For example, they started it like 1 week ago and you can still access it. It's fine. Okay, but there are courses that you can also access in real time, as long as it's still open, right, and you have enrolled to it. Required po ba? Yeah, as evidence. So, the certificates are considered your evidences. So, please attach them as well there. Upload the file. Again, if that's recorded and they cannot issue a certificate, your evidence instead of certificate would be the synthesis and implication. That will do on Microsoft Word file or PDF file. Okay? So, you have a list and then, of course, evidences as your attachments. Another. Yeah, you may continue typing in the chat. Would like to share? Someone asked for about this. Dennis. Okay. Dennis, Would you like to share because you asked for the certificate? So I assume, right? You already have earned your certificates, Janice?
Hello ma'am.
Hello?
Um, Isa pa lang po yung certificate ko ma'am.
And that is
Aba,
into what field of specialization?
ano po siya ma'am, nag-attend po ako sa Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
Vival Group po yung
Yeah.
pangalan.
Okay. So,
About po
and
siya sa,
teaching?
ano po ma'am?
May I ask if you'd like to be a teacher?
Yes ma'am, a
Okay.
little because uh, it's not too hard.
Okay. I
Unlike
can't
engineer.
agree. Sorry, I can't agree with that. I don't think there's really a program that is easy, right? Well, it depends on your interest because if you're really interested into a specific field, you can't really say. Especially if you're in the actual field. I'm not saying being a student, but in the actual field, I can say I'm sorry, but I can't agree with you that it's not hard. Okay, I mean we all need to exert effort in one specific field. Okay, thank you, Denny. So by the way, yeah, if you are into teaching, for instance, that's your target, right? Program in college. Okay, I can send you. I will send you links to that because I also will consistently attend. By the way, for the webinars for English, for example, you're into language, not just teaching, but into language. You may go to Cambridge English. I think I gained like hundreds of certificates. Yeah, that's exaggeration, but I think hundred, near hundred of certificates from Cambridge English and British Council. So you may go to British Council for webinars. But I just posted here the Future Learn because these are short online courses that you really need to attend for weeks or for days or months. But for webinars, they're just one time, right? So you may go there. Also for National Geographic. Yeah, you may go to National Geographic for science related, even English related webinars. Okay. So again, I need to because I will look at the relation, right? The relationship of one credential to another. So make sure they all belong to the same field of specialization, right? Not for the sake of attending a webinar. You need to benefit from that depending on your interest, right? In your target field. Okay? Another? Ma'am, yung sa Future Learn po yata need mag-avail ng print. Yeah. Again, you don't need to do that just like what I told you. Just go for the free one with the certificates. Okay, usually you will be given three options of the payment, right? The first option usually will give you, okay, you can access the course, but you don't have certificate. So look for the one with certificate because I was able to attend, right? I can't anymore share those with you because they're finished, they're done, right? With the online course, they're not anymore ongoing. But for this, you have to look for the free online. Look for the first option and make sure certificate is there. Okay? Make sure. But again, if you really would like to continue and even though not receiving option because that requires you to pay. Again, please do not pay, ha? Do not pay. That's in dollars. Okay? Do not pay for certificates. So you may still continue by giving the synthesis and implication. But I highly suggest the one with certificate. Okay? Did I answer your question, Lian?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you. Again, be aware. Do not enter right away if your goal also is to earn certificate of achievement, right? I suggest, okay, you have to scroll down first and check if the free, right, access includes certificate. Okay? So, I can share from time to time if I can share links of webinars, and then if you are interested into that field, just enter the webinar. Okay, the sharing is caring. If you also see one, share it right to our GC, okay, or stream in Google Classroom. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Let us watch this video. I hear a feedback from one of you, Karen. Yeah, what can you say about it?
Parang kailangan talaga maayos yung pakikipag-communicate mo. Kasi kapag hindi, parang hindi talaga kayo magkakaintindihan nung magha-hire dapat sa'yo, gano'n.
Yeah, and it's easy to discern, right? The attitude of the applicant. It's easy to discern, right? Her character, and of course, her what? I don't know if that's a skill, but her means of communication. How about Hershey? Yeah, correct. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's one, right? So you really need to be aware of what you put there, even though, for instance, you gave or you prepared like 5 page right resume or a 3 page resume. It's important that you know, and at the same time, yeah, you shouldn't question, right? You shouldn't question, right? I mean the questions. You shouldn't question the questions of the interviewer because yeah, that's a test, right? I mean, it's just a support. I mean, the papers, the resume, and the application letter, they're just simply support or evidences of, or the summary, right, of what you can offer. But of course, they need you to communicate well. How about Bianca Perez? Can you
Ay ano po ma'am, yung tawag dun, ang kulit po nung ano, nung
yeah.
nung applicant po.
Mm-hmm.
Ano po siya, tawag dun, dami niya lahat po ng tinatanong nung nag-i-interview sa kanya, kine-question niya po.
And I think they exchange roles, right? The applicant
Yes po.
asked so many questions, and the employer, right, or the HR manager became what? Became the interviewee.
Irit opo.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's good observation. Right. Again, you are the interviewee as the applicant, so you should be the one to answer questions and not ask too many questions. Right? How about Lian? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, ma'am. I enjoy po. Pero ma'am, I think it's too good to be true po eh.
Mm,
For, for me po kasi kapag halimbawa po, when you apply, tapos ganito po yung pinakita yung attitude, kumbaga sa manager or HR manager po. Automatic po na kumbaga, mababa na po agad yung score mo sa character po.
mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
Lalo na po kapag formal po yung company na ina-applyan.
Yeah, and imagine even her appearance, right? Even she did not prepare, right? You can see that she did not prepare for the job. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and usually, right, you don't act this way, right? If you are aiming for a high-paying job, of course, you really need to be professional. Thank you for the observation. So, yeah, tonight we'll have your this lesson, right? Appreciating the importance of credentials. Okay, so they can be in many forms, right? But I would like you to appreciate them and embrace them because you'll be needing them in the future. Maybe one day you will also send me PM. And from time to time, as this month, I received, requests from my former students asking me, "Ma'am, can I include you in my resume and can you write me?" Oh my God, that reminded me of one. I haven't finished it. Can you write me a recommendation letter to my employer? So again, this reminds me that I have a task to do. Okay, so this lesson, right, will encourage you to learn and be equipped with effective communication skills by preparing your most essential credentials as you prepare yourself to work. So as we continue, our objectives will be you will create your resume and application letter. They need to come together, okay? If you are asking or aiming for a high paying job, you need to provide application letter, not simply buying a 1 peso or 2 peso worth of biodata, right? In the store. No, you don't do that. You need to personalize, customize your credentials. And next objective, you will identify steps and fees in requesting for other credentials such as barangay clearance. By the way, these credentials are for work immersion, but don't worry. Later on, you will know the limitations of your submission. So we have marriage clearance, medical certificate, and jot down 10 questions that you expect to be asked by your employer. I will still present to you, right, the questions, but I would like you to compose your own questions, your expected questions that will be asked by your employer. Okay. Also, you aim to pass the mock job interview with me. Okay, so you have to prepare yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. okay, and digitally we can say that virtually because right your connection, okay, and assess your performance after the job interview. This is self-assessment. Okay, now let's start with writing a resume and an application letter. So your resume provides a summary of your education, work history, credentials, and other accomplishments and skills. So it's not like a slum book. It's not your slum book, okay? You don't include just everything about yourself, but this summarizes or highlights the best credentials that you can offer to the job. They're also optional sections, including a resume objective and a career summary statement. These are the most common document requested of applicants in job applications. A resume also should be as concise as possible because again this summarizes, right, or highlights your okay your credentials. So or typically, right, a resume is 1 page long, although sometimes it can be as long as 2 pages, but I think that's max if that's your first job and it's not yet your CV, right, or your curriculum vitae. It's not like that, but resumes often include bulleted lists to keep information concise. So unlike application letter, that's the paragraph that summarizes your resume, but for resume it can be in bullet form. Okay, so as we continue, so how are you going to write a successful resume? First, you have to choose the right format for your needs, right? What do you like to highlight? And you need to write for both robots and, sorry, that's small s, robots and humans. So, meaning, right, your resume it can be considered successful if, because usually, for example, you will try to apply in JobStreet or Lina jobs.com. In that case, you are provided right a part there where you can attach your files, you can upload your resume with the application letter and other credentials. That's possible now, so every time you will get notification, right, of a new job opening and that's a prospect job that you like to apply for, you can simply attach, right, you can simply click because you already uploaded the credentials. So okay, tips. First, you have to review sample successful examples online, but I hope you will prioritize that it needs to be contextualized. Okay, not all formats available online are what practice in our country. So we have our own culture when it comes to business letter writing. Take note of that. Use a template. Okay, choose the best resume format. Choose a basic font. Add numbers that quantify accomplishments. Of course, figures are so important. If that's your best credential, for example, your GWA, and that's important, you may exemplify, or your passing rate, for example, you passed the board exam, right? That's also important. Or, for example, you're simply applying for not job, but scholarship, right? So you may include your GWA, well, that's included. Include contact information, and of course, add a profile. Other tips, put the most important and relevant accomplishments first. So you don't need to include anymore your accomplishments when you are in kindergarten or grade 1, grade 2. There's no need for that. Just the most recent and the most relevant to the job you are targeting. Include also same keyword that appear in job description. Okay, so if they're looking for a teacher, right, you need to include, jargons in relevance to that. You're applying for being crew member or BPO industry. Make sure that your keywords are relevant to the job. Okay, optimize resume job descriptions. Write a custom resume for every job. Do not just copy paste. Okay, make sure to personalize everything, right? And update as often as possible. It's so important that in my case, it's not anymore resume that I prepare, but at some point I follow the same format of resume, but I call it CV because it's more of you advancing your professional growth, right? Not simply applying for a job, but for example, promotion, right? CPD. Those are the points for renewing your license, for example, and reread and proofread. So it's better if you, from time to time, you update, right, your resume, and then you add your certificates, right, all the your attendance to all the events. So this is an example resume, okay, for realistically, right? If you are grade 12 and simply applying for work immersion, literally just work immersion. Okay, so you have your name here. It's better if you have picture, right? So your home address, cell phone number, email ad, date of birth, gender, field of training. So again, this is mostly applicable for work immersion, not yet job. Okay, so you emphasize your senior high school, junior high. Okay, another thing here, you really have to be honest, right? With all the credentials that you will input, do not assume unless stated, just like what they say. Field of study accountancy. So at least your target office or target agency knows what department they're going to put you. Okay, relevant work experience, your OJT, that's important. Well, in this case, yeah, you cannot, when you apply, for example, a job, right, or at least scholarship, just be just usually we add our OJT. For example, it's supposed to be this work immersion, but again, given the pandemic, you you just have to include your certificates and attendance in many webinars, okay, and to training. So sorry, let me go back to example. Okay, skills and qualification should be there. So if you're into accounting or accountancy, so your NC3 certificate. Who among you have applied for that? Someone had your NC or national certificate. Wow, okay, Monica. We have Monica. What's your national certificate? What's the level?
Ano po, dressmaking.
Wow, is that NC2?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's one. That's one important. Wow, good for you. Right? That's one important credential that you need to have, especially when you'll apply for a job. That's a training ground. Okay, computer skills, special awards if you have special awards. Okay, and activities and interests. So, what is a convincing resume? It's not a merely list of your qualifications. Why? Because it packages your qualifications into convincing advertisement that sells you for a particular job. Again, you are selling yourself, not your body. You are selling your skills, right? Your interests. You sell your best features mentally. Okay, so your objective, or even physically, but not your body again. It's your credentials that you are selling. Objective, your objective here is to win an interview, right? So don't just put any credential or any achievement there that doesn't, that doesn't concern, right, your target job. Next, so selecting a resume format, we have these formats, chronological, functional, and combination. For the chronological resume format, you include first your applicant's name. Usually it's typed in big, right? Big font size on the upper left side, and your address below it, but not the same size. Don't worry, I'll show you example. Address, telephone number, job objectives, education, work history, job by job, beginning with the most recent position. Usually this is how we list, okay? From the most recent down to the right to the old. Okay, so even when you will submit to that activity number 6 for webinars, your certificates or webinars should be the most recent, right? And then to the old. Did you get that? Can you give me like react? If you get that, start with the most recent, not the oldest. Okay, thank you, Christine and others. So this is an example of my CV turned into a resume. I edited it for you. So we have here. Okay, let me try. So I sorry. Okay, so we have here my name here. Okay, and then the address below my name. Of course, I have my 2x2 picture. Make sure, okay. I also had an experience when it comes to the picture because when I graduated, of course, I was 19 years old and officially unemployed, they say. So, meaning I don't have money. I didn't have money that time. And I don't know, but when I applied, I tried applying first, right? Because we're given like opportunity to apply for PAP, for example. I was invited. And you know what I posted here? It was actually an old, a student picture of mine wearing academic uniform of the College of Education. And that's a shame for me. Of course, that's a shame because I didn't have money for, the picture, for the picture. for a formal one. But I suggest, right, especially now, even your DPC here in Zoom, make sure it's formal, right? So as early as now, make sure to have your formal picture. That's included, okay? That this will be graded when you submit, when you turn in your resume. So you have your objective. Please do not simply copy, right? The objective, make sure it's appropriate to the field you're targeting. Why? Because you can easily copy paste, right? Objectives like to be able to apply the skills and knowledge and so on and so forth. That's a common thing. So in my case, to be in an academic environment, because this is for teaching, to be in an academic environment that will allow me to acquire and apply skills for my professional growth and development. So that fits, right? My target job position. So, by the way, I have your address and then my cell phone number and my email ad. So, I included, of course, again, the most recent educational background. So, tertiary, okay, that includes my higher education as well, and undergrad or bachelor's degree, secondary, and elementary. And here, employment records. I actually have other parts, but I didn't anymore include those because for this format, right? It only includes until work history, if you can recall. Only education and work history. Okay, job by job. So I have here the most recent. I'm still instructor one from 2014 to present, and I included my OJT or practice teaching. So I only had two, workplaces that I've been to. Okay, next is the functional resume format. So in this case, it focuses on the applicant's skills rather than on past employment. So instead of emphasizing your work experience, you start with the skills. It depends on what's most appropriate to the job. Okay, so for example, you will type your management and supervising skills or marketing and retailing experience. Another format is a combination resume format. Of course, you combine functional, right? And chronological format. So it draws the best features of those two. It also stresses your capabilities while also including complete job history. And this is recommended for new graduates, but I may suggest the one I prepared there. Okay. So it is suggested that the principle is one-page resume or two-page resume for the length, especially for your first job. And we also have online resumes. It's been up for like 6 years or 7 years tops, right? The online resumes in jobs180.com. So it's simply like, it's like a profile, it's like a social media platform where it looks like just your Friendster before, right? At the first page, you have their Facebook profile. You have their you will paste there, right, the content of your application letter, and then there is an attachment or hyperlink that will direct you to the resume. Okay, make sure, or make your resume as long as needed to sell your skills. Ma'am, two-page resume is not enough for me. I like to make it three. Okay, as of today, I think I have 20 plus pages because that's not anymore for a first job to apply. But again, that can also be used or helpful if I will apply for another teaching job position because they're into credentials. But when it comes to attending job fairs, have you attended a job fair, for example? Right? They want quick view of your highlights, of the highlights of your credentials. So I don't think they have time to browse all 20 pages, right, resume. But again, this is still the idea, make your resume as long as needed to sell your skills. But if they're not needed, don't add them. Okay? So let's start with letter of application now. Again, do not submit just resume. Application letter is also called cover letter. It covers your resume. You get it? It covers your resume. It's a letter, right? And your resume is simply an attachment to that letter. I hope you're getting that. Do not buy a 1 peso page of application form, okay? No, or I mean resume or biodata, but because you need to attach your application letter or cover letter. It is the first business letter you will write after graduation because you like to earn money and you like to become independent. If these are your purposes, maybe you have other reasons, but these are the common reasons. This is also considered as the most important type of letter do not forget, do not just simply apply for a job with your resume, right? But attach it with cover letter because it summarizes, right, the contents of your resume. It is essentially a sales letter as well, or what we call a personal sales letter. Why? Okay, because again, just like what I said earlier, you sell your skills, your services, and your personality to your prospect employer. And your letter should reveal your worth with sufficient assurance, and it should induce the employer to interview you. That's your goal. Okay, that's your goal because you don't write this specific part on the resume, like, right, if you're looking for, I mean, at your own convenience, right, usually you ask for that if you like to be interviewed. That part is written on the application letter, not on the resume. So if you like to be interviewed, write a very enticing, realistic, okay, application. So hints to be followed in writing an application letter. So first, if you like to gain favorable action, it should be neatly typed and be very businesslike. Always adopt the you attitude. You attitude falls under 1C of effective business communication, which is consideration. So make sure, right, that you are focusing on what the company can benefit from you, not what you can benefit from the company. I hope that's clear. Okay. So you may ask the question, how will the receiver of the letter react? Will the receiver? Okay, let me continue. So again, you may ask yourselves the questions, how will the receiver of the letter react? Right? Will she feel that I'm bragging? Right? Or will she feel that I am, really interested and sincerely, passionately, what desiring for the job? Okay? And also, will this letter create a favorable impression? Just not the impression that the applicant in the video possessed, right? So you may be guided by these questions. Okay, another, right? So your points in first and second paragraph, take note that the purpose of the letter should be placed on the very first part that you are interested in the job, and make sure to identify what job you're applying for. You have to note. Why? Because in a company, for example, there can be many job openings, right? There could be many job openings that they offer. So it's hard for them to guess like what job position are you applying for. Okay? Especially if that's a big company. Next, where and how you learn the vacancy. This will note about later I think we'll discuss this if it's solicited or unsolicited. But yeah, the second paragraph you may include the where and how you learn about the vacancy. So if it's solicited, so meaning you've seen it in an advertisement, you read it somewhere online or any website, for example. If it's unsolicited, your friend just told you about, right, the job, and it includes a summary. The third is a summary statement of your special qualifications. So basic parts. I mean, yeah, parts of the body. Next, okay, we have your goal is to create interest, desire, and to convince the reader. So make sure to support the statement in the first paragraph. Usually, aside from, yeah, stating the job position, for example, you include right away your education, right, the most recent education you had. You may also emphasize the highlights of your education and background in business. Use concrete words to enable the employer to make his own conclusion. Again, concrete words, not vague words. Make clear your natural interest in the position as a result of your qualification and previous training. And at the same time, indicate the qualification summary, and that's the resume sheet. Okay, supplement with some personal sales messages as well. So, how can they benefit from you? Right? What's the best skill that you can offer to the company that others do not have or that others do not possess? Okay, so another, your goal is to stimulate action, of course, and this action is a call for interview. So you make sure to include a concluding part of the application letter by asking a direct bid for interview at the employer's convenience, not at your convenience, okay? Because you are the applicant. So, for example, may I have a personal interview? I can be reached at the above address or by phone, and then you type your phone number. Or you may say, if my background qualifies me for the position, I shall appreciate a personal interview. You can reach me by phone anytime between, right? You may do that. The number is, okay. So, still at the convenience of the employer. So these are the kinds, I already mentioned this earlier, kinds of application letter. We have solicited and unsolicited. So you can consider it's, but you don't need to write the word solicited, okay? For the second part, like where and how you learn about the vacancy. You have to be specific that you've seen it, right? You've read it somewhere, okay? But do not write if it's solicited or unsolicited. So again, if it's solicited, you're answering an advertisement, so you've seen it early. Unsolicited is when somebody tells you that an employer is looking for someone to fill a position, like a friend, right? Usually it happens, referral, right? A referral from your friend. Hey, apply ka doon. May opening kami. And also, they do that because they will receive a referral fee. Sometimes they will, encourage you to apply because it's, 50-50, right? Division of the referral fee. So next. Okay. Be careful with the spelling, pronunciation, capitalization, and grammar. Well, for the spelling, capitalization, and grammar, they refer to, I mean, to be specific, spelling, capitalization for your written credentials for application letter, while pronunciation and grammar applies to both written and oral, while pronunciation applies to your interview skills. Be confident, not overconfident. Okay? So, enough confidence will do. You may start with a question as well. So, as much as possible, the question of salary should be avoided unless the employer requests that you should say it. If you can recall from the video, right? So, she's even questioning, like, why would, why on earth will I work hard for less, right? For less payment. So, the question, this part here, you may start with a question. An example of that is there a place in your firm for a hardworking man like me who has all the qualifications of an effective accountant, but of course with a humble tone, okay, and sincere tone. I would like to share an experience of the question of salary. I really didn't ask for that. I also tried applying in Ortigas. It's an online, online teaching job, and yeah, she's the one. The employer was the one who asked me. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for, because my goal, because I was fresh grad and I didn't have yet my license back then. So I'm actually satisfied, right? Or contented with a 10K salary. So she asked me about how much am I expecting. So I said 10,000 will do. And yeah, I didn't ask more about the benefits. They will be the ones to discuss them. Okay, so we are not there for the benefits. You are there for you to offer your service. So three functions, okay, of your application letter is to introduce the resume. Just like what I said, it's also called cover letter. It introduces your resume. So it's the first page, that you will attach or staple before your resume to highlight your qualifications that benefit the reader and to gain an interview. Make sure that these are your goals. Make sure that all these are achieved, right, by your application letter. Okay, let me show you example now. So let's start first by identifying. I would like to check if you are equipped, okay, with the basic parts of an effective business letter. The 8 basic parts. Are you aware of those? The basic parts, because it's hard, right, to teach one type of letter if you are not familiar with the 8 basic parts. Anyone? What are the 8 basic parts of the letter? How about this? What do you call this? You may type in the chat if you don't like to be unmuted. What do you call this? Until Makati City only. The street, village, and Makati City. What do you call that? By the way, if you're applying for a job, if it's a job you're applying for, do not use the letterhead of your. Sorry, I already said it. Yeah, that's that part. By the way, this is a different. We call it using a different term. We call it a return address, right? Because again, you can't use for example, you're applying for a job, an actual job, and you are not anymore connected to PUP, in case you will pursue your college here, right? Or even in the future, you don't use the letterhead of PUP because PUP will not benefit from that. You will benefit from that. That's a personal interest. Okay, so use the address, your return address. So we call it letterhead if the 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 purpose concerns the company for example? Well, in terms of your work immersion, if we're talking about work immersion and we can really apply it in reality and in the physical world, it's okay to use PUP because you're still under PUP, right? But if that's for personal interest and you're not anymore connected to the university, do not use letterhead with the logo. Do not use it. Okay? So use return address. You have here return address. So your street, subdivision, village, or barangay, and then the city. How about the date? What do you call the date? Yeah. So heading is it's a vague term for this. Okay. Heading is simply, the always the part, the first part, I mean the header part of the Microsoft Word when you double tap it, right? But to be specific, we call it return address if you're not representing a company. And it's letterhead. We call it letterhead if you're representing a company. So how about the date? What do you call the date? May I ask if you have learned business letter writing in reading and writing skills or in EAP? Because it's hard. I mean, I allot, a separate lesson for this. Okay. The date is called the dateline, and dateline should not be abbreviated. It should always be complete. But you may also apply the military style, like the day, month, and year. But in this case, it's month, day, and year. How about this? Who is Attorney Joseph M. Vargas? Christine? Christine Joy? Who, who is this person? Attorney Joseph M. Vargas.
The person who, yung pagsesendan po,
Okay, correct.
yung,
Yeah, correct. The recipient of the application letter. So in this case, you need to complete the information. We call it inside address. Is there someone who knows about this term? It's called inside address. It gives the information of your employer or the HR manager or the officer in charge, anyone who's assigned who's assigned to receiving the application letters. Okay, so it needs to be complete. You need to have your full name, the full name of that person. Next is the position, and don't forget the company and address of the company. Okay, usually my students commit lapses here or mistake. Usually they will include their name of the employer, full name, and then they will include position and then address. They forgot the company. You can't be a personal director of Mandaluyong City, okay? So do not forget that. So you have the name, the position, company, and the address. So that's inside address. This part, Dear Attorney Vargas. What do you call Dear Attorney Vargas? How about Monica? Monica, are you there? What do you call Dear Attorney Vargas? Okay, what do we call that? Do you know what it's Okay, but thank you, thank you. How about Patricia? You raised a hand. What do we call this part?
It's the greetings po or salutation.
Correct. That's the word salutation. Okay, it's salutation. So, dear Attorney Vargas, as you can see, there is no punctuation mark, right? On salutation and very truly yours. Later, I'll tell you what it's called because it's called open punctuation. We have open punctuation and closed punctuation. If you will use, of course, in our context, we usually use closed punctuation. We use colon for business letters, colon, right? Because it's American style. British style is comma. But in the country, again, we need to adapt to our culture. And in business letters, we use colon, huh? That's the period and then period, the two periods. That's the colon, not semicolon, okay, but colon. So you will use colon here if you write the letter. So, Dear Attorney Vargas, colon. Do not use first name here. Even if you're so close with the employer, do not use nickname neither. Okay, so Dear Attorney Vargas, use the abbreviated title, professor, director, attorney, OIC, right? Honorable, if that's a first scholarship, for instance. Dear Honorable on the HON period, and then surname and then colon. Surname, ha? Be formal. Okay, let's analyze this part. So I believe that my 5-year experience as customs broker qualifies me for the position of chief customs broker in your company. So there's a position here, job position that's mentioned. My experience and interest will prove as definite assets in fulfilling my duties as chief customs broker if given a chance to join in your company. So it's visible, right, in the very first paragraph that the purpose was mentioned. And of course, at the very beginning, there's an highlight of selling his service. Okay, next paragraph, it's about education background. You okay, I finished BS in Customs Administration. So from that, we can say that it's so relevant to the job he's targeting at the University of Cebu in 2002 cum laude. So if you have flying colors as well, like with honors, with high honors, so you may include those, right? A year after the experience now, work experience, a year after I passed the customs brokers, I know it's still education background because it's the licensure examination. This one is work experience. I worked as a customs broker in the Royal Brokerage Corporation in Parañaque City. So based on experience, education, right? He's really for the job. You can say that he's really the perfect person fit for the job. I have taken computer lessons at System Technology Institute in Libis, so you may add your national certificate if that's relevant to the job. And close this, you can before your request for interview. This is a must, right? That you enclose or attach. Usually, use enclose is a resume sheet which outlines in details my education, work experience, training, and references. Do not simply copy this if you don't have training and references on the resume. Okay, so do not forget this part. And when you say enclosed, meaning it's there, it's attached, it's the next page, right, of this letter. Do not make a two-page application letter. I'm talking about application letter, ha? I'm talking about this kind of letter. This should just be one page, right? So summarize everything that you can highlight. And the last paragraph should be about your request for an interview. So I am willing to come to your office for an interview at your convenience. You can reach me on, and then the address, telephone number, and my mobile phone number. This was so old, so you may now include email. I will show you a different example. Okay, this is what we call body of the letter. All the paragraphs. Okay, usually we follow the format of OIA. O stands for orientation. What is this about? What is the letter all about? And then information, right? You give information of or the purpose, but on an application letter, you usually include your purpose or information in the very first part. And the action part. The action part is when you ask for the interview. Okay. How about very truly yours? What do we call very truly yours? And then we use comma here, ha? Not colon, not semicolon. We use comma after very truly yours. Please avoid using respectfully yours. That is for army, military rather. Okay, so use very truly yours, truly yours. Also avoid sincerely. It's too casual, right? Of course, do not use cordially. This is very truly yours, or yours truly. It's okay to make sure also take note of the punctuation, huh? Common mistake of my student, they capitalize Y if it's very truly yours and they capitalize Y in yours. No, you're not writing to God, you are writing to a human being. So it's just the sentence case. What do we call that? It's CC. It's a two word CC. Yes, Pat? You're saying something?
Closing.
Okay. So in business letter, we call it complementary close. Okay. It's a form of closing, but we call it complementary close. Complementary is letter I, ha, not comple. It's complementary close. You are giving compliment to to the recipient. So complementary close, not complementary close. Okay, How about Jeffrey Paul M. Arcamo? Who is Jeffrey Paul? Anyone? He is the applicant, right? But what do we call these parts? What we call, the signature line. So what's missing? We have A, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's missing? Anyone? You may also type there in the chat. What's missing? I told you we have 8 basic parts. If there are basic parts, right, all are required. So what do you think is missing? The most important, it validates your letter. What's missing? Correct. The written signature. Correct, Karen. But we call it written signature. Okay, written signature. Yeah, it's so important. Okay, so we have here return address or letterhead if you're part of the company and you're writing on behalf or in behalf of the company. And we have date line, inside address, salutation, just colon, the body of the letter, all these parts, all these paragraphs. And very truly yours, we call it complimentary clause. And Jeffrey, this your name, computerized name or type name is called signature line. There and of course the most important, a written signature. And that's the last part we can say, even though it's not the last, really the last that you type, but it's the last thing you did, right? Or the last thing you do is to input your, right, to scribble your written signature. Someone raised a hand. Who's that? Sorry. Someone raised a hand earlier. Okay, I hope it's clear. How about the format or the letter style? Familiar with full block, semi-block, and modified block? Okay, this letter uses full block style. That's the easiest because all parts are flashed to the left margin. This is what we call full block style. When we say semi-block style, the return address and the date line, we flash it 5 spaces from the center or from the center. Okay? Let's debunk the practice that we had before when we were in elementary, that when we write letter, we really write to the very right margin, right? You notice? No, we shouldn't do that. It should start from the center or 5 spaces from the center. Then you type this, okay? So they're aligned here. So from the center, you start writing or typing your return address and then date line. Usually to some, they add space after the address before the date. That's fine as well. Okay? This is semi-block, huh? Another thing, for semi-block, inside address is always flushed to the left. You don't change its position regardless of what format you're using. It's always on the left. As well as the the salutation. For semi-block, the body, right? The body paragraphs are indented. For every new paragraph, it's indented. That's semi-block, huh? Indented. If it's semi-block, salutation is on the left. Complementary clause is aligned. You can remember that when you're in elementary, right? It's aligned to your return address here from the center or 5 spaces from the center. It's aligned to your date line and return address. So this is where you type your very truly yours or your complementary clause. At the same time, it follows your signature line. They're now aligned here. Okay. I hope that's clear. Any question? Please ask so we're clear. Maybe you'll tell me, Ma'am, let's just use full block. It's up to you. It's up to you. Or if you're already part of a company or an agency, you have to look or ask what letter style they're using. It depends on their culture. If they're fond of semi-block, modified. Modified is, sorry, I mentioned about semi-block, right? That's semi-block. When it comes to modified, it is somehow the same with semi-block style. The only difference is the indentation of the body paragraphs. Okay, because in modified, paragraphs are not indented. But return address, date line, complementary clause, and salutation are from the center or 5 spaces from the center. Anyone who can't follow, it's okay. I will try to repeat. Can you give me heart react if you can follow? If not, use haha. Okay, there's one heart. So we actually have 4 letter styles, but the last one is not usually used by many people. It's what we call simplified. Right? It's a lot of spaces, and they don't use salutation and complementary clause. So I don't suggest that you'll use that. So we have this full block. This is the full block. Okay. One is still full block style. Okay. This is my application letter. Let's try to read. This is my application letter when I try to apply for a teaching position. But I remove here my okay. I remove the return address. I mean, I didn't remove it when I applied. Only for this presentation, I would just like to focus on the these parts. So before this, before the inside address, of course, I included, okay, because this something, if you notice, the position is up here because it's the format that the school gave. So you need to also consider that, right? Because normally I will type that name and then position, but in terms of the format that the was this FEU gave or provided on the website, or because they posted instructions, so this is what we call solicited application letter. So again, I have here on top, it's not here as you can see, but I have here my return address and the date line. Okay, so jumping to the next part, we have the IA again, the inside address, and then, ma'am, what about through? Okay, what do you have through there? So this is also a recipient, and normally they are the direct. You have your actual, okay, recipient, because they need to follow protocol. That's why at some point, right, they assign an HR manager to receive it, and usually they're the ones who receive, right, who receive your application letter. So you may add this. You may also look for the instructions, right? For the instructions, if they included, additional means of or channel, yeah, means of sending your application letter. And then I included, ma'am, how about the salutation? Yeah, you have to follow the surname of your actual recipient in the inside address. Not not Aquino, but Serapio. So I have here Mr. Serapio. And as you notice, I use colon here. I use colon here. Okay, good day, sir. I included that. I'm a graduate. I included my education background. It depends on what's needed since I'm in a teaching position. So I included my education background. I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Santa Mesa, Manila, with honor, and currently working on my thesis for Master of Arts in English Language Teaching, or MEALT, at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, College of Education Graduate Studies. So I included my expertise because it's not my first job. So I can now include my work experience. Like, I'm interested in the job as an English instructor. I have been teaching in college for 4 years and 2 years in senior high school, with the following courses: study and thinking skills, writing in the discipline, purpose of communication, and the like, all courses that I teach. Why? Because this can allow me to get the job, right? Because they might consider looking or assigning courses to me that I can teach in the future. Okay, on this part, my other credentials, I'm also flexible for my capability. I'm also flexible when it comes to teaching students in various academic programs. I have experience to handle elementary, secondary, and business teacher education, IT, accountancy, AB English, physical education, engineering, computer science, and entrepreneurship students. With this, I want to utilize and share my acquired essential pedagogical skills. So I use jargons there. So they refer to teaching children and strategies to my students in order to inspire them, change their way of thinking about life, and practice their potential skills to achieve their goals in life. So both personal and professional. So again, the enclosure attached is my resume, which outlines in details my education, training, and references. References belong, I mean, references refer to your character references, okay? They are not the references you use in your research. No, they are character references. These are the people who are not blood. related to you, but these are the people whom your employer can contact in case of, validation, right? Confirmation of your credentials. So this in this case, I am asking for an interview. I'm willing to come to your office for an interview anytime you find most convenient. You can reach me on the above address. So I have my address here on top. It's not here. You can call me up through my mobile number, and that's my mobile number, and email address. So now you have to include your email ad. I hope for your favorable response. Thank you and God bless. Very truly yours. And then I have my name below. And of course, do not forget to sign. Okay. More examples. This is somehow short. Okay. Good day. I, Mary Jane A. Galano, a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management in ICCT Colleges Foundation Incorporated, would like to be part of your company as front desk officer. So in this case, right, you emphasize also the job position like front desk officer. I attended a 3-day, this is now relevant to the experience, 3-day apprenticeship by experience program on board Pasig City. That certainly added competency and proficiency to my skills as a tourism graduate. Enclose, again, enclosure of your resume. Enclose is a resume sheet that outlines in details my education, trainings, and references. So in this case, she's fresh graduate. That's why there's limited highlights of the experience and training. I am willing to come to your office for an interview anytime you find most convenient. You can reach me on this address and call me up through the mobile phone. So again, include your email. That's important. I hope for your favorable response regarding this matter. Thank you and God bless. So in this case, you may change this into very truly yours. Okay, another. Okay, there's one more. This is a sample resume of the previous sample. Sample application letter from for the previous sample resume. This is the cover letter of the resume I provided to you earlier from Angela Ruth. So the address for in this case, we added now the phone number. So on the latter part, you don't need to include your phone number and email ad. So now it's a trend. I think they use this now. The address, your phone number, and email. So when they look at your paper, they don't need to look at the last paragraph or at least on your name. Sometimes they include that below your name, but it's already there, right? On your return address, you have your phone number and then your email. And then date line, of course. And then inside address. By the way, this one is for work immersion, for apprenticeship or OJT. So, dear Mr. Arboleda, so that is the surname. Please double check as well. When you in your writing application letter, double check if he's still the ICO, if he's still the officer in charge, if he's still the principal. It's so important. Or the director, the chief of the office. It's so important you are updated. Okay. Another is okay. The intent of this letter and the attached resume is to apply as student trainee at Tanay Municipality. I came to know about the opening through the advertisement posted on your website. So in this case, they combine, right? And the first paragraph, she combined, of course, the mention, right, of the job position. I mean, yeah, the position and what the type of application letter. Please unmute. Sorry. Okay, so going back, right? This person also included, okay, how or where, and yeah, where did he learn? Did she learn? Rather, did she learn about the vacancy? So I have academic and professional credentials that fit the roles and responsibilities of a student trainee. Make sure to apply also correct grammar. We don't make room for lapses or mistakes, right? In your application letter, it's so important. So I suggest you use Grammarly. Who among you have used Grammarly and install it in your browser? You can install it in your browser for free on your Microsoft Word and on your browser. Familiar with Grammarly? Can you give me Heart React if you're familiar with this, and just Wow React if you haven't used it? Oh yeah, that's great. See, you know Grammarly. So maximize the use of that software, right? So you have your Experience here, credentials earlier. As you notice, right, all credentials mentioned here are also in the sample resume earlier. So thank you for taking time. You may express your gratitude here. Thank you for taking time to consider my application. I have attached the required supporting documents along with this application. Please let me know. So the enclosure is on this paragraph. Please let me know if you need any additional detail through my email or through my contact number. So you have to include your phone number here, or it's already here, right? That's why it's just open close parenthesis. There's no need for that. Sorry, you may remove this because your contact number is already on top. I will furnish it at the earliest possible time. Thank you for considering my application. God bless. Very truly yours. Don't forget your signature. Student applicant. Again, this is for the sake of, you know, training, apprenticeship. Okay, next. Okay, how are you going to fill out application forms? Okay, so in this case, you're going to spend enough time polishing your application to get it right. It's not one time, big time. I can tell you that. Okay, usually when when I ask my students to edit from time to time. By the way, it's 8:28, so time check. Yeah, we will just continue this on Friday. I'll see you on Friday, okay? And for the job interview, we'll do those next week. You cannot answer the self-assessment activity for mock job interview if you haven't done the mock job interview for me. Okay? Or with me, rather. Let's take picture. Please turn on your videos. Turn on your videos. Yeah, thank you. But you may start working on your resume and application letter. It will be posted right now, like after 2 minutes. Okay? So smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. God bless you all. See you on Friday. Stay safe and you may start working on your credentials. Thank you. Bye. Application form because it provides information which your application letter and data sheet may not be able to give, like your penmanship, right? So maybe they need to see your penmanship if you're applying for a secretary position, right? Of course, you have to fill out an application form with ball pen, right? With your own penmanship, accuracy and carefulness in answering questions. I have experience with regard to this. I applied, I took the exam in Camp Aguinaldo. I think that's the one for I think it's just for staff or admin position. And then on the lower part, because I was so excited to answer, I wasn't able to read that the answer should be written at the back of the form. So what happened? I wrote everything on that lower part. Then you know what? Just because I read the instruction, I cross it out. So it looks dirty, right? No one liked that. Okay. I cross it out and then I said my answers found or can be found at the back of this paper. So yeah, please avoid that. Be careful. You have to read everything. Relax, right? Take your time and yeah, you do not fail to miss out, right? One question there. So neatness, yeah, just like what happened to me, right? That's not neat. So I didn't even expect, right, to pass that. So ability to follow written instructions, right? For example, common, a mother's maiden name. O, yung name ng mama nyo nung dalaga siya. Not the name she's using now. That's the maiden name. Okay? Also, as you notice, they use the culture, right, in America for the header. That's why I gave you a different format in the example. Okay, how about this one, the blind advertisement? Who among you are familiar with blind advertisement, or how would you say that it's a blind advertisement? How do you identify this? Anyone? Aliyah? I think you're also one of those who already turned in, right? Your application letter. Any idea about this? Why is it called blind? Or
To be honest po, hindi ko pa po siya masyadong naririnig. Kaya hindi ko po siya medyo alam.
Okay, thank you for that, Aliyah. So for blind, that's why it's called blind advertisement because it doesn't reveal the identity of the employer or specific requirements of the position. I think when when you're still at PUP, right, and you walk through Teresa, you've seen postings, right, on the wall. Even inside the PUP, the Freedom Wall that we had there, right, on each floor, you see blind advertisements. Why? They don't reveal. Sometimes finding a job, looking for a job, right? Call this number. So that's a blind advertisement because it doesn't reveal the identity of the employer. So you don't know what exactly, right, is the job, and it doesn't provide specific requirements sometimes, right? Just for example, your undergrad, it's fine like that. So letters answering these advertisements should be brief and too informative. And salutation is gentleman unless you know the name of the addressee. Okay, and you also need to be careful, right, with blind advertisement because to some, right, they are predatories, right? Okay, and next, yeah. I even told you, right, that if it's possible, visit the concert of. If it's not, of course, let me tell you, don't go. Don't go out, okay? But you just have to answer, okay, in the assessment if you have browsed that, you just have to answer how, right? How are you going to get these certificates? So you have to enumerate their steps. I think I asked for 5 steps on how to request for barangay clearance, police clearance, mayor's permit, right? You may search for it. You don't need to go out, or you may ask someone in your neighborhood, okay? Yeah, and for the medical certificate, again, it's not anymore mandatory because it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so again, you learn about resume, right? That includes, it highlights your, of course, your picture, education, work experience, even your job objective and skills, right? But again, it needs to be together with a cover letter or what we call application letter. So let's have our group activity. By the way, okay, can we just, because I told you that next meeting will be, but we have, okay, let me skip for a while the group activity. Okay. I told you that we will have mock job interview, right? So may I ask again, the president? Yeah, is
So,
he here?
wala po yata dito, ma'am.
Okay, how about secretary? Ay, vice president? Who's the vice president?
Tuya po, ma'am.
What's the first name?
Nadine po. Ay, Geraldine.
Is she here? Rather?
Wala rin po yata. Si
Okay.
ano na lang po, ma'am, secretary po,
Si
Bentanilla.
Okay, the secretary. Who's the secretary? Sorry.
Bentanilla po.
Okay, Jerry. Okay, Jerry? May I ask, okay, may I ask you to assign schedule, okay, to your classmates, okay, even of course including yourself, because I asked you there. I mean, even in the IM, you will see there. Kindly notify me through a personal message or SMS or Messenger or Gmail once you're ready. But in this case, maybe we can make it right, systematic and organized. So I may ask Jerry, okay, Jerry May to schedule each of your classmates for next week. So I will not anymore put deadline, okay, for that activity for the mock job interview. Okay, can
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, thank you. Okay, please put all the names, enumerate all the names with the preferred, right? I mean, for example, you need to have draw lots or just what alphabetically arranged. Well, it should depend on the availability of your classmate. So please tell, right, Jerry, when is your preferred, okay, mock job interview. It should be our time as well. So next week, since it's asynchronous, okay, for the activities, maybe we can use, right, our Tuesday and Friday for this. Only for this. So if you are not for included in the first batch, so you may not join. Is that fine? So at least it's just for the mock job interview until we finish everyone. Okay, so it depends. So for example, next week or just one meeting next week you like for the mock job interview. This will be all throughout the sem until we finish everyone. Any any comment on that? One meeting next week for mock job. I need response from you. So at least if you're okay with that, one meeting will be allotted. So for example, maybe ask me, ma'am, how many per meeting of for the mock job interview? Maybe we can have what, 10 at maximum. Oh, you have to respond. So if it's not okay, I know. Any represent Jerry? As a secretary, how about your take on that? By the way, you have to wear, you have to prepare, right? Anyone? Oh, you think it's okay. Or type in the chat. If you can't unmute, type in the chat.
Ma'am, what if po Friday na lang din po para makapag-prepare din po yung kung sino man po yung interview?
Okay, yeah, sure. So Friday next week for mock job interview. So Tuesday will not meet. Okay, so we'll allot our Friday to that. Is that right? Okay, so Friday, 10 only. So if we finish early, it's fine. Just as long as we finish the 10. And then the following Friday, another 10. Okay, again, you need to prepare, huh? So the attire, I'm sorry, it's hot. I know it's hot in our houses, but at least for this time, prepare for this. Don't worry, it will just be, some questions to ask. So these are possible questions, by the way. So while you're thinking of what to type, okay, let's have this. So interpersonal skills. Yeah, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you do when you know you are right? So these are the possible questions as well that I may ask you. So just prepare your answers. I assume you shouldn't memorize, just take it by heart, right? And just be honest and be natural. So if your colleagues had an opportunity to tell us your primary strength, what would that be? And your primary weakness, what would that be? Okay, this one. Yes, please include those in the correspondence. So again, depending on their availability, huh? No forcing. Okay, so as early as now, if you'd like to be part of the first 10 next Friday, please, okay, tell Jeremy. And yeah, once you're done scheduling, Jerry, you may post that. At least for the next Friday, please post the names on our stream so at least they're aware. Okay? Any more?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Just pose your concerns there while we are reviewing these questions. Okay. As a component of this position, you may have to work on a team on certain projects. Describe when you've worked on a team before and what, in your opinion, constitutes an effective team. So even your leadership skills will be asked. Okay. In this case, we will just have draw lots, okay, of the question. So make yourself familiar with the questions. What do you do when others resist of reject, sorry, that's or reject your ideas or actions? Okay, suppose you are, these are behavioral questions. Suppose you are in a situation where deadlines and priorities change frequently and rapidly. How would you handle it? Okay, so how do you know when you are stressed? What do you do to distress? So still be formal, ha, even if you are giving me the personal answers, and you still need to be formal with the language you use. Ma'am, tanong lang po kung habang nag interview andun din po yung classmate. Okay, I need to ask for your permission for that, if you like. Because there are interviews, there Aliyah, I saw your reaction. There are group interviews, right? I've been there. Okay, I think I was in fourth year college and I tried applying, right, in a BPO industry because like fourth year college we didn't have full load, so we have rest days, and I went with my friends. I think we're three or four. It's in what's the last station of Alabang? I think that's Alabang. It's the last station of PNR. It's too far, so and it's like class recitation. That feeling. I was at the back and I was asked a random question like, "What are the benefits of milk?" So you have to pick like random questions, and no, it only tests your. However, I didn't pass because I said because they asked me to choose between graduation ceremony or training. Of course, I chose what graduation, so I did not pass. Yes, Patricia.
On the mock job interview po, are we allowed to speak Tagalog po, ma'am?
No, sorry, English only. Yeah,
Okay
let's
po.
practice. Okay. Yeah, so again to ma'am, tanong lang kung habang nag-interview. So again, what do you like? Ma'am, I can put you in breakout room. And then we'll be there and then the others will wait. Do you like that? Just one-on-one? Let's have a poll.
Yes po.
Or let's have a poll. Okay. Wait, let me create a poll. I think that's better if we have poll. So at least I can. We are 28. You're how many? 40? 49? How many are you, Pat? All in all?
43 po, ma'am.
43. Jerry, you may be guided by the class list. I sent the class list right in our GC. So okay, I will launch the poll now. Okay, you may vote. Okay, there's one, two. Okay, 1 to 1. Okay. But maybe for those who like, right, to challenge yourself, maybe you will experience this because I experienced that. So at least it will not be any more concern about it. Okay, 18, 19. We are 29, so 28. That is 28. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, now 20. Of course, it's obvious now. Okay. So 21. Okay. No vote for group. But if you like group, even if you're alone, yeah, we can do that. Because it's your call, of course. Normally po ba yung mock interview, ilang questions po? At most 5. That's the maximum. But if I already see that, right, you carried it out well, maybe 1 to 2 will do. It depends on how you answer the question. So it's like giving you more chance, right, to better your answers. Okay, 25 for 1 to 1. Okay, so this time, right, I will put you into breakout rooms and we'll be there. And then after we're done, we have to leave that and then the following. Okay, so again, maximum of 10 applicants only. How long does it take per person? Very minimal, like what, 5 minutes? That's maximum, I think. Right, don't worry. Like 5 minutes will do, or 3 minutes. It depends on how you carry out yourself. Okay. So since this is just one time, right? Please prepare your setup there. If it's possible, you have like virtual background as well. I hope please prepare also that at least on that night, it's not noisy, right? It's just one time, okay? And you wear your corporate attire, okay? And you have to assume, right? Applying for your dream job, okay? That will be your goal. Thank you. But why are those tears? I think that's a crying emoji there.
Ma'am,
Okay.
sa resume din po kayo magbe-base, 'di ba?
Both. It depends if you have already submitted, but if not, just I will just simply rely on this. Okay. But of course, I will ask you first. You have to orient me. Right. I will ask you like what's the job position you're applying for? Right. How did you Okay. I don't want to preempt, but possible questions as well. Like if it's solicited or unsolicited, like how did you learn about the vacancy? Okay. 26. I think that's enough. So I will end the poll. Okay. Okay, share. So 1 to 1, that's the final. Okay. So 10. So 10 only. So if you're not part, you may not join if you right. Okay. Other concerns in the chat? So these are possible leadership questions. How would you describe an ideal supervisor? Wow, okay. So what strengths did you rely on in your last position to make you successful in your work? So you may simply assume if the question refers to a previous work, right? You may assume, a relevant experience of that, even if it's not work experience. As a supervisor, so it's more of the supervisor. And maybe you're applying as a manager, so you might be asked this question. Okay, optional situational questions. You observe two of your employees arguing in a central location in the office. I've experienced this in a final term in one campus. And then we were so shocked because they were fighting and shouting at each other. One of your employees comes to you complaining about another employee and insisting they should no longer work together. So how are you going to handle that? One of your employees comes to you to complain that he or she has more demanding workload. Wow, this is comparison of workload. Then another employee and wants the workload to be shifted. In this case, I will not preempt. It's you to figure out the answer. Could you share rather? Could you share with us a recent accomplishment of which you are most proud? Tell us a bit about your work background and then give us a description of how you think it relates to our current opening. Why have you applied for this position? What skill set do you think you would bring to this position? Okay, tell me about your present or last job. Why did you choose it? Why did you, or do you want to leave? Yeah. What was your primary contribution or achievement? Biggest challenge? What are your short-term and long-term goals? Okay, in this case, you need to be ideal and futuristic. In what areas would you like to develop further? What are your plans to do that? Why should we hire you? Right? Usually, that's the last question. Mhm. Okay. So again, I will remove right the deadline because I think it's up there in the Google Classroom. The deadline for the mock job interview self assessment. I will just remove the deadline because you can answer the self assessment for this if you haven't had your mock job interview. Okay, is that clear? Mhm. Okay, let's have our group activity. No more concerns. Just your attire, your audio be present, your environment, your hair, your grooming. I think that's a must. You already know that. Okay. So in this case, yeah, definitely you will remember the class orientation picture about being prepared, right? When it comes to the outfit. Can we wear shorts? Well, I will not see that, so it's up to you, right? Of course. Okay, let's now go to this group activity. So I will ask you to write an application letter as a group. So I will give you the link to the Google Docs. Okay, you may also access the QR code. Okay, this is it. Where is it? This one. Okay, I will divide you tonight, okay, in breakout rooms. So okay, I think maybe we can have two. It's fine for two. Okay, 30 will 30 minutes do? Do you think you can finish it in 30 minutes? Especially for those who have turned in their application letter, maybe they can share right, their insights. But again, check the grammar. I think I've seen lapses there on that part. Okay, 30 minutes will do for that. Mhm. Okay, 14. Wow, that's many. Maybe we can have three. Okay, let's have three. That's so many. Three breakout rooms. So in this case, if you need my help, just call me and I will enter your room. Okay, yeah, 10, 9, 9 members. Okay, maybe we can have three for this. So all of you can work together there. And to inform you, I can see the process, right, of your activity because I have the link as well. Can you screenshot this? I will also send the link in the chat. I think that's better. Okay, let me, before I divide you. For group 1, here's the link. 2, that's a blank document, so please follow the things you learn. Don't just simply search because it's a different culture again in America. By the way, you might ask me, ma'am, how about this you have turned in? And then you'll check the group work. Is that your concern? Okay, you may, okay, until it's still not the deadline, you may still turn in. There's there's unsubmit there, I think, option in the Google Classroom. You may change your output. Okay, so don't be weary about it. You may still do it. Okay, that's the link for group 3. Okay, you may now go there. I will open the rooms now. Questions, by the way, for this? Format, Arial 12 will do. Arial 12. Okay, the letter style, you didn't ask. Okay, it can be full black or modified, just the two. Full black or modified style. Okay, so you work as a group. Any more concerns before I open all the rooms? Yeah, you have concerns? So thank you. How about Marcus? McCoy? How's the experience?
Our group, ano ba yan? It's nice. Well, in terms of communication,
Mm-hmm.
We are communicating each other properly and the sharing of ideas are being connected to each other.
Wow, okay. That's unity there, right, Sir McCoy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. How about Fritz? What can you say about the activity, Fritz? Or your experience with this collaborative task? Are you there, Fritz?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello?
Um, Kinakabahan po ako kasi wala po akong idea kung paano gawin yun kasi wala po ako last meeting.
Okay.
Brownout po kasi dito.
Okay, so in that case, that has something to do with the content. But how about the experience in, I think you simply assign one, right? And then someone is typing, and then others are giving ideas. Okay, and I can see, yeah, you're almost done. Okay, let's start. Is it okay if we start from group three? Is that fine? Okay. Okay, let me share now my screen. So in real time, we will check your work. Again, I only gave you two letter styles for your options, full block or modified, right? I didn't mention about semi-block style. Okay, let me share now. Okay, can you see this now? Can you give me like react if you can see this? Okay, as you can see, I can also interact with you.
Alert from backup failed.
Okay, okay, great. Let's start. So I will simply view this as in suggesting mode. Okay. So first, I told you, right, to use full block or modified. In this case, we can see, okay, full block. They use full block style. Great. Okay, very neat, right? Because at the very beginning, that will be, the first thing, right, that your employer would look at. Definitely, it's the physical makeup or the overall makeup of your letter. So let's start. Anonas. Okay, you started with this. Santa Mesa. Okay, Maynila, Kalakhang, Maynila. I think this can be Santa Mesa, Manila alone. Right? For why you copied this from the website, or is this really your address? Who owns this? Please help me, Group 3. So you may do this as Santa Mesa, Manila, and yeah, your number is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Why is this 12? I think it's supposed to be just one. I mean 11, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Help me. 2, 4, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay, you. Okay, next, yeah, your email. Again, I told you to be realistic, so make this formal. Okay, please make this formal. So I can also give me a comment here. Okay, for this one. Make this formal. This formal email ad. Yeah, I know it's just for the activity, but I think I gave you heads up, right, to be formal. Or there's chat there. Ma'am, e-edit po ba? What do you mean i-edit? Sir, is this Sir, who is this? Sir Mac? What do you mean i-edit? I'm already checking it.
Okay po, ma'am. Sorry po.
I'm checking it as well. So you may just help me if, right, for instance, that's the address really. Okay, so dateline. I can see, look at the punctuations. October, space 30, comma. Okay, that one. 2020, dateline is separated, header. Okay, address, phone number. Okay. Miss Ernela Igolano, correct. This is also how we do this, right? In the university, all uppercase in boldface, correct. For this one, if you're already, right, Faculty of College of Education, as you notice, and College of Education, that seems to be redundant, so you may say faculty member, and then below that is College of Education. That will do. Okay, and then this. Okay, because this is a college, right? And we even have departments under college. So I'm actually under Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. But College of Education will do. Okay. Polytechnic University of the Philippines main branch. Alright. Or Santa Mesa campus. You may also do that. But okay, dear Miss Galano, colon. Very good. Correct. Okay. Surname only, colon. Wow, you learn a lot. Okay. This is full block. Again, it's great that you justify. It's neat looking, right? So, good day. Okay, the intent of this letter is to apply. Usually we separate good day from the orientation, but it's fine. The intent of this letter is to apply as your student assistant. Great also that you boldface, right, the position to fulfill my final requirement, which is practice teaching. Okay, to fulfill, usually it's better to use what? As your to fulfill my final requirement or what? In partial fulfillment, right, of the requirements. Okay, in practice teaching, you may, which is practice teaching, you may make this formal by saying that as your student assistant in partial fulfillment of the requirements in the course. And then if you have course code, you may type there. And then practice teaching. Wow. So someone would want to be a teacher here. Okay, Professor. Wow, you even have your character reference here right away. Professor Melanie Jimenez. Okay, you may please make sure you use the appropriate title there. Or Miss Melanie M. Jimenez suggested that I should apply as your apprentice as she believed, okay, that I can learn a lot from you. So that's possible. That's great. Second, I'm currently taking Bachelor, okay, of Science in Education, major in English. Wow, I have academic credentials that fit the qualifications of being your student assistant. I'm a fast Wait, this is practice teaching, so I think it's better if you use the right word because, right? I mean, you can be student assistant in any office, but if it's for practice teaching and it's partial fulfillment of your requirements in the course practice teaching, I think you need to be called as pre-service teacher. Are you following? Can you give me like react if you can follow? Yeah, so at least you're learning. Okay. Yeah, okay. And I have academic credentials that fit the qualifications of being your pre-service teachers. Again, so this one, pre-service, right, like this. So pre-service teacher, period. I am a fast learner. I like that. Comma, a consistent honor student. Well, we need to achieve parallelism as well. Okay, I am a fast learner, a consistent honor student. I am capable. So in this case, and capable. So you may continue with that. Parallelism is important. So fast learner, consistent honor, and capable, okay, of handling unexpected situations inside the classroom that I learned through. So, by the way, you don't simply say it in past tense because you use present perfect, right? If you mean that you learned that from the past, but they have relationship at present. So you may say that I have learned through leadership trainings. So just training. Mhm. Okay, and I am also capable of doing lesson plans. I like that. For future class meetings on time. Okay. Next, thank you. I think it's too much. You may just simply use one space per ayan, before new paragraph. Thank you for taking your time. Okay, or for taking time. For taking the time to read my application letter. I have attached the required supporting documents along with this letter. I am hoping to work with you soon. Okay, this is somehow, I don't think it's too formal here. So you don't need to use exclamation point because that means a lot. Okay, if you need any additional inquiry, that's okay, inquiries, you may contact me through the information given above. So that's your letterhead there. I have written address. Thank you for lending your time to consider my application. Stay safe. I like that. I also did. Truly yours. Okay, what is missing? Anyone? The most important?
The sign.
Signature.
Okay.
Signature.
Written signature. In this case, you may simply just have one as well. Space here. Okay, for this, yeah, signature. That's the reason you have, okay, this entire space. Okay, the idea again for 3 to 4 spaces for the written signature is for the written signature alone. Why? Because to some, maybe you've experienced this or maybe you've seen letter where people sign, right? Or the applicant or the sender of the letter sign here, right? Literally on top of the name. So how will your name be readable, right? If you will sign on top of the name. That's the purpose of, okay, that's the purpose of this space. Okay, for you to sign on this part. Can you follow? Can you give me like or act for that? Okay, and again, Bianca Madison Tenorio, all uppercase, great student applicant. Okay, I like this. Congratulations. Very minimal. Okay, don't worry, that's still minimal. That's why it's green. Okay. So congratulations, group 3. I hope you learned a lot from that. Next, we have group 2. Can you, while I am doing this, may I hear from group 3, like your realization upon seeing the suggestions? Anyone from group 3? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Correct. Okay, and then email. Again, it's better if you have used what? Formal email, your full name. Okay, correct. Dateline, very good. Okay, great as well. Are you sure about the abbreviated title? Maybe there's, right? Item or professor or, right, doctor. So in this case, are you sure that she doesn't have middle initial there? So it's important. You don't need to boldface this part. Okay. Yeah, Polytechnic University, Anola, Santa Mesa, Manila. Correct. Dear Miss Liwanag. Correct. Colon. Okay, again, for this, you may justify this part. You may justify that part, right? For neat looking. I'm a graduate, a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in mathematics at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Santa Mesa, Manila. Since you need to use comma here because you refer to the address. Okay, with honor, magna cum laude. For cum laude, I think that has space. Okay. I believe that my credentials and interests will meet your standards as a teacher. Okay, you emphasize as well. My goal is to emphasize conceptual understanding of the math topics they presented in class and facilitate connections between current lessons and students. Pretty nice. Okay, constructivist theories here. Okay, as I am applying, okay, please be cautious about your use of exclamation point. Okay, because that means as I'm applying for the position, I am confident that my experience and knowledge as a teacher qualifies me for the job. Okay. Throughout my experience, I had the opportunity to do field works in a remarkable number of schools that helped me. This is so vague. You may specify at least some of those. So you may specify here. Specify your evidence because it's so subjective for the remarkable, right, number. So how many, even the school, or how many that helped me improve my mathematical skills, such as, okay, my analytical and organizational skills. Not only that, I was able to, okay, please be more formal with this word. Okay, moreover, use more formal transitional device. Moreover, or in addition, or likewise, I was able to pass the licensure examination. Okay, we don't tolerate abbreviation in your letters. So for the math as well here, you may complete this. Mathematics. Yeah, mathematics topics. Or mathematical topics. Is that how you use it? And what else? Where are we now? Is able to pass. Okay, I think it's better if you. Okay, I passed. Okay, saying that you passed, meaning you're able. So I passed the licensure examination for teachers, and then include the year. For example, last 18. It's important you have the figure. I'm a fast learner and dedicated. I think I already saw fast learner here. So, no, from the previous group, I think. Yeah, okay. I'm a fast learner and dedicated enough to fulfill my responsibilities for it. You may remove that. You are giving limitations to yourself, so that's better. Okay. Fulfilling my responsibilities for this job. I am deeply thankful, okay, for giving time to evaluate, In my application, okay. I have attached the required documents along with this letter of mine. Along with this letter, I think it's obvious, right? That it's your letter, so okay, with this letter. If you want to know more details, please let me know. You may. Okay, just be sure about the word, the choice of word here. Okay, you may say, yeah, you can. Contact me through my email and contact number. Oh, this one is fragment. Huh? Please be mindful about this. I am looking. When you say looking forward, that's fragment. Where is the subject? I am. Okay. Looking forward to working with you soon. I'm motivated to apply for this position. I think you already mentioned about the application. To working with you soon, I think it also mentions that. So be precise again. 1C of effective business communication or business letter is conciseness. Okay. Thank you so much. Even for this, I don't need to use the exclamation point. Just that. Thank you so much. Very truly yours. Very good with written signature. Okay, all uppercase name, applicant. Okay, congratulations. Can you give clap reaction for groups 2 and 3? That's a great job. I mean, very minimal. I mean, at least, right, for the formatting, it's great. So they use full block as well. Full block. Okay, now it's time for group 1. Okay. How about for group 2? Earlier, I didn't hear from group 3. How about from group 2? Your realization upon seeing those suggestions? Are you a member there, Ma'am Patricia? Okay. What's your realization there?
Um,
Not bad, right?
yes. We were able to
To what?
to share each ideas po kasi not all of us are out. Hindi po kami lahat parang alam yung tamang ilalagay, ganun.
Mm-hmm.
So, ayun po kahit papaano po. May tama po.
That's too much. I mean, at least, right? The whole view of it is correct. So that's all right. So
Okay,
here.
thank you po.
Okay, thank you. By the way, here, maybe you've looked at the previous example, right? Where the one I used last time. So it depends, but that will do. Okay, because you already have your name here. So if you like to emphasize that, that's okay as well. Okay, space here. Okay, Mr. Marcos, it's fine. Again, it's just a tradition if you will type it in all uppercase or, right, or sentence, I mean, title case. It's fine as long as you boldface that. Just make sure that's aligned to this. Oh, look. If you boldface that, you need to boldface your name as well. Okay. So, date, okay. Person and manager, converge, correct. Very good for inside address. Perfect. This one, okay, colon. I think you use comma here. Okay. So since you use comma there, that's a close punctuation. Mr. Villarreal, correct. Okay. Look at the letter style. I told you only what full block or what modify. This is semi block for the paragraph because you indent. But you can even say that because I think you would like to use full block. Once you put the header, okay, once you put the header flash to the left, okay, it means that you already would like this to be full block. Okay, so I think let's just stick to this, especially here, oh, it's full block. Maybe we can do this. Okay, so I hope that this letter finds you well. I'm responding. Okay, let's avoid contraction. I'm responding to your advertisement in, okay, this is what solicited. Okay, that's right, the reason. Okay, you may also justify all. right? So everything looks what organized, neat, presentable. See, okay. Advertisement in the local employment news for sales support assistant. So that's the job, right? I consider that my credentials, okay, and interest match with your requirement and want to. So I consider I want to apply for the said position. Correct. As I am applying, let's remove that again. For this position, I have the skills and knowledge to be qualified as a sale support, okay, assistant. I am. Is this really just sales support, not sales support? Anyone? Any representative? Where do you see this advertisement?
Ma'am, yan po.
Is
Hello, ma'am.
support or sales support?
Sales support assistant po, ma'am.
Okay, just sale. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I am reliable and trustworthy. I am a reliable and trustworthy employee. Okay, and I am ready to work long hours. Okay, great. I am a goal-oriented person who likes serving people. And I can assure you that my knowledge, so mostly use compound sentences here. There's nothing wrong about that. But you may even combine them. Okay. So my knowledge and skills in this field, okay. Wait, and I can assure you that my knowledge and skills in this field can help your company. Correct. Thank you very much. I hope you also included because it's mostly for on your about your skills. How about your work experience, right? Because you even say you are what I mean your credentials, right? You need to highlight. It's not that it's not it's not about repetition of what's already right in your resume, but at least highlight the most recent. Okay, so for the credentials, please highlight the most recent. Okay. Because it's still important because we don't simply allow vague words, right? Because that can easily be constructed, right? So it's better if we have figures. Thank you thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for considering my application and taking time to read it. I have attached my resume with this letter. Okay, when you say you attach, it's already with your letter. So there's no need to say that. So I have attached my resume. If you need, let me delete. Okay, if you need anything, okay, please do not. Again, let's avoid contraction. Please do not hesitate to contact me and it would be my pleasure to assist you. Okay. In this case, it sounds like you are the employer. Okay, I'm sorry. But this when you say right, it would be my pleasure to assist you. It sounds like you are the employer or the hiring manager. So in this case, right, maybe we can omit this. Okay. That's the tone for me. Again, I told you, right? You have to put yourselves in the shoes of the employer and you have to listen to your tone. If you sound humble, right? You sound considerate. So do not hesitate to contact me. That will do, yeah. Okay, again, this is fragment. So we don't tolerate fragment here. I am looking forward. Okay, I am looking forward to work with, so all these flash to the left, not indented for full block. I'm looking forward to work with the people in your workplace. In these or with this? I think with this. Okay, yeah. With this, comma. I am highly motivated to apply for this position. Thank you and God bless. B is lowercase. Oops. Okay, not capital B, this is lowercase. Okay, and is there a period there? Period. Oops, not there. Period. Okay, very truly yours. Great. With signature correct. Wow. Okay, congrats. Group 1. Okay, just that's minimal. I mean, overall, right? You know the parts, complete parts. You know the formatting. That's great. Can you give clap reaction as well for group one? Okay, congratulations, everyone. May I ask again, representative, before we end? Okay, your realization. By the way, we have this fire, so you may just type in. Okay, sorry, you're not seeing the screen I am pointing at, or at least one for now. Before, okay, can you see this? Give me like reaction if you can see the link. Have I told you to answer this before? Not yet, right? Last Tuesday, not yet. So you may go to the link, okay, and give me your fire, your feelings, your insights, your reflection, and experience. Before we end, may I ask at least one representative from the class to share, right, your realization after the checking. RJ, are you there? I'm sorry, I know we're all hungry. Yeah, I hope you had your dinner before this class, even though I haven't. Yes, RJ, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share with us your realization?
About sa ano po?
Yeah, about all the suggestions I gave, the feedback I input there.
I think it is useful po na yung mga nagawa namin is mas maayos pa at maganda pa po.
Yeah, thank you as well for okay, thank you for that. At the same time, yeah, it's I am very honest when I said it's not so problematic, unlike the ones that I've edited before, and they were they were college students. But in your case, you have at least right, the parts, the format, what to include, and yeah, congratulations on that part. For those who already turned in, you may still edit your work, okay? So let's have our picture. Please turn on your camera or your video. Yeah, thank you, Raj, for the heart. Okay. I know you're tired. Is this your last class this week? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next week, Jerry, okay, please wait for their schedule. Okay. Let's, okay, please smile. One, two, three. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you for your time, for your patience and understanding. Yeah, thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po,
Ma'am, can I
ma'am.
ask question po?
Yeah, sure. What is that?
Ma'am, kung gagawa din daw po ng resume yung mga correspondence.
It's there in the module. So, yeah.
Oh,
But they don't need to turn in. Again, if you are part of the correspondence mode, please do not turn in. Okay? Classroom activities. Just focus on your model. But, for example, we have group activities. Just note there in the module that you complied, right? Or you work together.
noted po.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Bye.